Hello and welcome to the 11th lecture of this playlist, Files. In the previous lecture, we have introduced the concept of object-oriented programming, that is class, and we have shown how to use our earlier concepts in terms of object-oriented programming and how to use them. So far in the previous 10 lectures, we have learned how to deal with data and how to deal with variables. But we have mainly worked with locally produced data. We have manually created a list or a collection of numbers and performed operations on them. But in real life, you generally work with files saved on, in real life, you work with data saved on a file. So it is very important to know how to read a file saved in a directory and how to access the data or how to write data in a file. So in this short lecture, we'll introduce to that so that you can access real life data and then read or write them or modify them according to your need. So the first portion of this lecture is reading a file in a directory. For that, first you have to define your file path. So for example, in my local machine, this is the file path, and I have saved a file, myfile.txt, where I have just 3 lines of data, 10, 20, and 33 numbers. And what you have to do is that with the with keyword, you have to open your file path, and then you have to read your file as a file object. And then you can give it a name, contents, whatever you are reading. And then you can print the contents to see them on the screen. You can see that when I run this code, it's showing just 3 numbers because that's what is saved in that file, myfile.txt. And that's how you can read what is already saved in your local machine. What if you want to write something? Then the task is kind of similar. You have to just define your file path, and then with open file name, and you have to use W, that is, you want to write in a file, and then you have to use .write method. Let's say you want to you want to write I love programming in your text, myfile2.txt. Then you can see that there's a file where this code is actually written, I love programming. So that's how you can generate data or store data, read and write these kind of basic functions you can do. There are a lot you can do to access your data and modify them. So that's pretty much I had to share how to read and write data in Python. So and also we effectively finish our basic understanding of Python concepts. The next part is to implement what you have learned. You have learned how to deal with data, how to list of numbers and variables, how to use conditionals, how to use loopings, and how to use object-oriented programming. To get very good at programming, you have to actually implement this data. You have to go beyond your theoretical understanding and in dealing with small chunks of code. Rather, you should try to make something practical, like a small app or a small game. However small or simplified it is, it will give you a real world feel of programming. So I would suggest you to first do some drills on practical problems, like interview problems, which are discussed in my other playlist, Python drills. And another playlist you can explore is Python projects, where I will discuss how to make real life projects by using Python, like a tic-tac-toe game, or something simplified about those, a small applet or data analysis tool. So I hope that I hope that these videos will be useful for you and you will be able to use them. And also happy Python drills and Python projects. I wish you the very best.